After his tweet storm, InfoWars then started saying, well, look, it was the New York Times that reported it, citing our story, misreading our story. And now, a few weeks later, the White House and the president are citing InfoWars. So they've got one kind of bizarre right-wing fringe theory to defend another bizarre right-wing fringe theory.
We got Comey lying, saying nobody was being spied on. We got everything. We got Clapper. We got Brennan. We got the Justice Department. We all got a pack of liars that think they're going to defeat America, and they're not, because America's better than you, scumbags. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some of the biggest crow eating going on by the fake news combine over at PolitiFact, over at CNN, over at the New York Times. Turns out Trump Tower was wiretapped like a Christmas tree. And specifically who we said was being wiretapped, Paul Manafort. In his conversations with Roger Stone and the president. Just like we told you back in January of this year. And it was all illegal. It was all done politically by the Obama/Clinton Democratic Party Loretta Lynch meeting on the tarmac crime syndicate. Oh, look, CNN's giving us the exclusive last night. Let's put it back up on screen for TV viewers. Exclusive. U.S. government wiretapped former Trump campaign chairman. We probably wrote 50 articles about that back at the time, just because it was so flagrant how mainstream media was specifically lying when a month before they were in every paper, every TV show going, we've got NSA wiretaps, we got Justice Department wiretaps, we got Trump getting money from the Russians, we got them with foreign banks, we've got them totally controlled, we've got wiretaps on Stone, we've got wiretaps on Manafort. In the January 20th article in the New York Times, because I was in D.C. for the inauguration that morning, reading it over coffee, and I interviewed Stone at the inauguration about it, live. And it said, we've got wiretaps with Stone getting money and being directed by the Russians. Later it came out, ladies and gentlemen, they had zero. Just like the Comey memo had nothing in it, he claimed. Trump didn't do any of the things he said. And Comey then told Congress there was nothing in it. But then later told the New York Times when he leaked it that there was stuff there. Then he went back to Congress again and said that Trump basically was trying to obstruct. He's all over the map. So now CNN has been forced to come out and just halfway let it slide out that, okay, Trump was right because Manafort did have an apartment in Trump Tower in New York. And he was being wiretapped because they're getting ready to try to use those wiretaps in the indictment of Manafort. I learned 2 days ago that Manafort's lawyers talked to our sources and said, indeed, Manafort has been told, you are indicted. Not what we're seeing in the news today that Mueller intends to indict, but he has to do that through a grand jury. He's not judge, jury, and executioner, but it's a swamp thing, District of Criminals creation. I mean, the jury's made up of alligators, crocodiles, boa constrictors, and other creatures. And there they are, a thoroughbred swamp federal grand jury directly out of the District of Criminals, hand-picked. And so now they've got their evidence of Manafort, and it's nothing to do with Russians. Supposedly they found business dealings going back a decade ago that maybe didn't get declared on the right forms because he had some offshore bank accounts, which all the globalists have and which they say are legal. But if they find any of your forms filled out wrong, just like your IRS form says, penalty of perjury, you make a $1 mistake. Federal law says 7 years in the federal pen, you'll serve 6.5. 7 years in the federal pen, you get one number wrong, and you waive your rights to the Fourth Amendment, you waive your rights to a jury, you waive your rights when you sign that IRS form. So That's where they're going. And they've told him, you burn Trump and make up stuff and start singing like a canary, or we're going to throw you in prison, and we're going to chain you up in the back of a federal vehicle, and we're going to diesel you until your toes pop, until your hind end comes out. You got hemorrhoids bigger than hot dogs. That's what they do. They've already told him, we're going to torture you. You're basically dead if you don't start lying right now. That's our loving FBI under the Clinton crime wave. That's these thugs that are openly censoring the internet and openly going after everybody. Then they can push the country and everybody else around forever. When they're so corrupt, when they're so out of control, they're dirtier than Satan's forked tail. They're dirtier than, while I'm into gross analogies, the Satan's rear end. And then they sit there and they look at Trump and all his associates and all the renters and all the golf club members are all being told, you're under criminal investigation, hoping they dump their memberships, trying to ruin Trump financially, stalking, terrorism, harassment. And I get to enjoy it all myself as well. Doesn't intimidate me. It makes me know this is war. So again, why are we attacked? Why are we demonized? Why are we hated? Because we're real. And it's true. InfoWars, Drudge Report, and Breitbart were all put on Trump's desk. And all Breitbart, InfoWars, and Drudge did was link to pundits, Pelosi, Waters, others before January of this year when they were all going, we got the wiretaps, we got the proof. Putin tells him everything. Putin tells him drain the swamp. Putin told him the word crooked Hillary. They just made up. Oh, let me get my call right now. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yes, Putin. Call it InfoWars? Oh, okay. Hillary for prison 2016. Thanks for the idea. Because, you know, I have to read off teleprompters. I'm not an original person. I got to have Vladimir Putin tell, yes, sir, I'll get it done right now. So they're all saying they did this. Then we call their bluff. There's nothing in any of these communiques. So now they're having to come out and say, okay, it's true. We were spying on Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, we broke, via Sheriff Arpaio's operation, a data dump that was brought to the feds and ignored, where Obama for 8 years was spying on everything Donald Trump did. They knew he was planning to run for president. They knew he was a closet conservative patriot. They knew he was a populist. And guess who else is in there? There's thousands of names. Alex Jones. And when I looked at it, it was my old private number I had at my last office. They even had that listed on there of what was being surveilled 24 hours a day if agents wanted to then, of any agency, go into the file and listen to everything I'd done. They had my cell phone, my backup phone, my wife's phone, my office phone that I never even used except for radio interviews. They had Trump's private numbers. I had the Mar-a-Lago number to his private apartment, would never even dare call it. Never even called it. Even though I'd gotten a call off of it and asked Roger, what's this number? That's his private apartment, buddy. Nobody gets that. I'm reading the NSA deal. There's his number to his private apartment. He doesn't have the whole Mar-a-Lago area. He's just got like a 3-bedroom apartment. This is the type of garbage that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. That article's up on Infowars.com. NSA documents prove surveillance of Donald Trump and his family. Remember, James Comey lied to Congress and said, that's ridiculous. That's crazy, he said. That's when Trump decided to fire him, by the way. He laughed at Trump and said, I'm going to play the clip. That's crazy. That's crazy that anybody spied on Trump ever. And then through the campaign, through the last days, remember Obama was in the news saying, we're not going to let him get away with it. We're giving all the secret data to the news and to others, and we're putting in a 5th column in government to block him. They admitted their whole plan before they left. They set up law firms to sue everybody. They're suing Cernovich. They're suing Roger Stone. Oh, yeah, new stuff with Cernovich we'll tell you about. They're coming after everybody because they're thugs, and they know they're thugs, and they know they're dirtbag scum. And finally, people are calling their bluff high noon out in the square politically. So here's CNN, forced to admit Trump may have been right about being wiretapped. They have the big world exclusive. World exclusive. CNN reported it a year ago. And it was true. Then they think we have no memory months later and say we're crazy. Here's the clip.
The Justice Department has publicly denied the president's own lines were wiretapped. As you'll recall, he tweeted out months ago that President Obama had his wires tapped. The Justice Department has come out and said that's not true. But what is possible, Don, is that he was picked up on the Manafort surveillance. And we should note that Manafort does have a residence in Trump Tower.
Okay, so there you go. And then now they're admitting it. All right, there was some wiretapping, and the NSA was spying as well. And basically everybody was spying on him. Now let's go to the next clip here. Just as a memory hole, this is back in March. CNN, New York Times blame Alex Jones for Trump wiretap claims. So see, memory hole. We're going back, what Gruber hates, the guy that wrote Obamacare. He said, thank God you're dumb. Thank God you have no memory. Well, I know you're not dumb and you do have a memory, but we're going to bring back the clip for everybody. And there's a bunch of these clips of them saying, we're insane. The New York Times never reported this, even though they did. And you can read their articles. But again, they hope you don't go back and look at the article. They don't show the article. They think you're stupid. They're betting everything on you being a moron. And they've been proven to be big, fat liars yet again. Here it is.
What do you make of the White House citing your article as part of the evidence?
I mean, it's getting bizarre at this point because we've said it very clearly, and I said on your show, that that's not what the story said. Anybody can read the story and see that's not what it said. And so there's this bizarre circular thing happening where the president cites a theory that he was wiretapped, which developed on the kind of fringe right-wing media.
Yeah, fringe right-wing media. There's the New York Times. Right there.
And after his tweet storm, Infowars then started saying, well, look, it was the New York Times that reported it, citing our story, misreading our story. And now, a few weeks later, the White House and the president are citing Infowars. So they've got one kind of bizarre right-wing fringe theory to defend another bizarre right-wing fringe theory, both of which there's no evidence to support.
And just to be clear here, there is, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's absolutely nothing whatsoever in your reporting in the New York Times that indicates President Obama wiretapped or ordered wiretapping of then candidate Trump, correct?
Nothing. I mean, if we knew that, that is a fantastic story. That we would be rushing it. I would not be sitting here with you. I'd be at home writing it or out reporting it. We said that there were intercepted communications.
You said there were intercepted communications. That was on the NSA end, and that was illegal as well. And Clapper, the former head of all intelligence, who got up in front of Congress years ago and said no one in the U.S. has ever been spied on by the NSA. That's like saying no fish has ever swam in a lake or ocean or creek. Fish live in the sky, and pigs live on the moon, and ostriches live on the sun, and Hillary Clinton's a beautiful woman and not corrupt, and James Comey's a great guy too, and the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus are real. So there you go. It's just simply amazing that they now come out and go, yeah, we're getting ready to indict Manafort. And behind the scenes, I just say, you are indicted. You make stuff up or we're going to torture you to death, basically. And this is just some random group set up by Hillary and Obama with Mueller just running around foaming at the mouth, totally corrupt, and all of Hillary's legions of crimes, nothing's done about it. But boy, if we can find a wart on Manafort's elbow, we are going to just absolutely throw him to the wolves until he makes something up, but then he won't. See, that's how that works. That's why you guys are up the creek so far and everybody sees what a pack of lying, arrogant con men you are. You look at that New York Times reporter, you look at that CIA operative, and by the way, both of them are CIA. You look at these slimebag, blue blood elitists, coastal elites, preying on the audience, thinking they're idiots. They don't have an audience of idiots. They have an audience of fellow travelers who are mental patients and feel like they're part of this leftist takeover and who want the talking points to go out and repeat them. I mean, let CNN know something. Your own viewers, by and large, aren't even conned anymore. They're just on board with you. We go out and ask folks, and they go, well, we're moving on from the Russia narrative, the racism narrative, and then we're going to go back to the other narrative later. And they know it's all bull. Liberals know conservatives and constitutionalists and Christians are very moral and are anti-racist on average. That's why they hit us with it all day, because they know it's not true. They've all got borderline personality disorder, basically, where they project onto you what they are. And I finally understand that going out to all these rallies, mainline Democrat rallies. They are conscious scum. They know they're liars. They know capitalism works. They don't care. They want to wreck stuff and run it. To a man, they're either smug, inbred, elitist, sociopaths, psychopaths, or they're just ugly people. It's true. They're ugly, and they love misery, and misery loves company. That's it. Just once you understand that, it all makes sense. They're bad people. They're race baiters. They're racist. They use race to control. I've got a clip coming up of one of the top pediatric vaccine controllers in the state at a World UN meeting in Houston saying, we're going to make the public totally submit to vaccines. And she goes, the problem's white people, and we need to kill all the white people. And everybody sits there and nods their head, and they're all white. You're like this, and I keep telling you, it's weird cults of white people. I've got Green Party Germany, Green Party UK saying soon all the whites will be gone. I've got all the UN saying it. I mean, this is a weird group of people, man. This is some whacked out stuff. And it's true. Anglo-Saxons and Western Europeans have always fought tyranny and have never been able to be conquered by the Romans or anybody else. And there's just something about us, and they don't like it. And it's white people that know that. It's a white superclass of controllers and the wannabe minions that sit around talking about, don't worry, we're brain damaging all the third world. And we're going to get the whites in the end. We may have to kill every stinking one of them. They're all sitting there nodding their heads. Because I told you, they get these doctors in these training meetings. We've got the training manuals. They say, yes, vaccines kill large numbers. They cause brain damage. They cause type 1 diabetes. They cause it all. But we've got to cover it up because it's part of the greater science and the greater good. But the statistics show it's not. And they know the vaccines are dirty, and they know the vaccine makers have protection, and they're paid to do it, and it's eugenics, and they know what they're doing. And she says, I'm proud to be a minority white person in Houston, and I'm proud of the diversity, and it's time to kill all the white people. The video's on Infowars.com. I'm not exaggerating. You see, they're coming out, folks. Every day I've got professors saying genocide all the whites. Every day it's a total plan. I told you in Endgame, the eugenicists target who they believe is their #1 threat. And they believe Western culture and European ethos is the threat. It's really whacked out. And you go, yeah, but they're almost all white. That's the thing. It's total eugenics. They want to wipe everybody out. They talk about how good the minorities are and how they want their shots. No, they don't. Then she lies and says, oh, and there's less infectious disease in Mexico than there is here. I mean, it's really whacked out. But the Mexicans, they love their shots. Oh, all the little girls get their Gardasil shot. On the insert says can sterilize you. I don't care if you're Hispanic, white, polka dotted. I care about you and love you because I got empathy, and we're going to win together, and these people are going to fail. We're getting their number. We're figuring out who they are. They're so evil, it's hard to comprehend. I understand. But once you just realize they're total evil and study them, it just gets more fantastic. I've got them also at one of the same conferences saying blacks have bad gene pools and so do Hispanics and have to be exterminated with vaccines. They actually say it on tape. That's an Endgame. It's just like, what the hell? They just want to kill everybody. I mean, you got that? Now, she said she wants to kill all the white people. I'm going to play the clip. But since I mentioned all this, when we come back, Hillary won't rule out overturning the 2016 election. That's a new video. I told you that's coming. She's also demonizing me. Coming out saying that it's unbalanced, that there's too much InfoWars, and that mainstream media needs more money and more investment. They've got all of Hollywood, all the MSM, all the major comedians, all the news channels, all of it, and they're saying InfoWars is dangerous and that she needs more funding and we need to invest because they're outnumbered. What, by the truth? By memory? Dirtbag? that I remember who you are, I know what you've done, I know what you stand for, I understand your operation, and you can't stand it? And we've got more on the bombshell, folks. And as libertarians and patriots and conservatives and Christians, we don't like to brag, but it isn't bragging. It's an info war. We were right about the wiretapping. We were right about the whole thing. They now have to admit it because they're getting ready to use it in court. Illegal political wiretapping that makes Nixon look like a choir boy. That's all coming up. And we've got loaded guests today. Massive censorship intensifying. I mean, the war is on. We got Comey lying, saying nobody was being spied on. We got everything. We got Clapper. We got Brennan. We got the Justice Department. We all got a pack of liars that think they're going to defeat America, and they're not, because America's better than you scumbags. You're a big trophy hunter, like these eugenicist racists. You don't want to just mount the black people's head on your wall. You want to mount the white people's heads on the wall that are virtuous and aren't like you vampires. Oh, we're going to get you. I know we are. Ooh, make me angry. Oh, boy, I tell you, we're going to break their will. You're not breaking our will. They can feel our will. That's why they're scared right now. You will never break my will. You will never break my will. Never. Yeah. Yeah. Now, it's about to sell out, but the good news is we get more in next month. Caveman, ultimate paleo formula, total meal replacement, chaga mushroom, the concentrated organic turmeric, bee pollen, so much more with the concentrated bone broth. Try it for yourself in chocolate and strawberry. They're both about to sell out. 50% off. I'm still keeping it at that. InfoWarsLife.com. We need your support now. Commit and fund us. We're on the march. Ah, yes. Yes. Yes, Hillary, feel my dark heart. It's the opposite of that, isn't it?
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.